Good day to you. It is I, Justin Hawkins, and this is Justin Hawkins Rides Again, my new YouTube channel. Thanks so much for your support. Don't forget, like and subscribe for more of this scintillating content. I'm not in my usual abode. I'm in an airport hotel, hence the please. Hence the illustration here of a passenger jet flying from here, which is Gatwick, to Lanzarote, possibly? Not sure actually, there's no information marked on the thing. So today I'm going to be talking about Sam Fender, but as a caveat, I don't know anything about him at all. I've done a little bit of research, just very quickly. I wanted to react to the song From the Heart. There's a song here called, seems to be his most popular one, called 17 Going Under, and I know it's a little bit dated. It actually came out in July, but I'd never heard it before. He signed to Polydor Records and released his debut EP, Dead Boys, in November 2018. Apparently, he emerged onto the music scene at the same time as Lewis Capaldi, who's from even further north in Scotland? I nearly said America then. He's not, no, he's from Scotland. And but Sam Fender and he they interact using the social medias, I think. When one of them's out drinking, they sort of do a story for the other one, right? Is that correct? Yeah. Anyway, Sam Fender won the Critics' Choice Award at the 2019 Brit Awards and released his debut album Hypersonic Missiles in September 2019. And that album entered the charts at #1. So I don't know why I haven't heard of him. Where was I in 2000? Oh yeah, on tour? Was I on tour? I was doing something else, sorry. The second album, 17 Going Under, great title, was released in October 21 and also entered the UK albums chart at #1. So it's already massive. I'm really missing the party. Why am I so late to this? Why didn't it resonate with me? Is it because I live in Switzerland? Is it because it's a UK only thing? Is his regional sort of dialect and the accent that he sings with, is that hindering him and making it exclusively UK? I feel like it'd be big in America, don't you? Let's have a look at the song then. Here. You know what I've noticed about modern pop music? It's not necessarily a criticism, but I think it's what we live in is the age of the ostinato. You know what I mean by that? It's a compositional expression that talks about, like, if you have, like, for example, a pedal is this, like, it's the chords on that song are basically, I mean, there's got some other inversions, there's some other stuff going on caused by intricate tunings. Na 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 na, you know? Na 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 na. It's just, that's an ostinato. It's when a melody goes da, 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 or it does something that repeats, and then the chords around it changes, so the root changes, but the melody still makes sense because it's picking out harmonic information from the second key and then the third key, but really it's staying in this key, and everything moves around it and it repeats. It's actually like there's a composer called Philip Glass who operates with those. Operates with almost exclusively an ostinato going around. Everything changes and it all becomes all fluid and trippy, and it's a great device if you want to get a proper poem across, because it makes something catchy when you're talking about stuff that's quite detailed and gives you an opportunity to put across like a wider idea than you would normally have the opportunity to do if you were just singing along with 3 chords. Especially if you're trying to create a refrain. He hasn't done that with that song, has he? There's like a but the words change all the time. So technically speaking, it's not a refrain, but it is catchy. I love stuff like that because it's just a little bit more clever, and you have to respect it. Anyway, I only just looked at a picture of him. I thought he was. I must have mistaken him for somebody else because I thought I'd seen a Sam Fender Netflix special, and it looked like somebody who was trying to sort of build themselves as the young Bruce Stringbean. And that isn't what he's doing. He's doing something totally different. Actually reminds me a bit of a cross between the Waterboys and the War on Drugs. Do you get that as well? Do you feel like that? Something? Maybe? He's definitely very poetic. I'll look at this. Some of his words. Hang on, I had his words up a second ago. Here we go. I remember the sickness was forever. I remember snuff videos, cold Septembers, the distances we covered, the fist fights on the beach, the busies round us up, do it all again next week. And embryonic love, the first time that it's scarred, embarrass yourself for someone, crying like a child. I mean, it's really gritty, isn't it? It's really like, this is the soundtrack to growing up in North Shields, I suppose. Not dissimilar to the one that the lower stuff. Actually, isn't dissimilar to the lower stuff. Or anywhere in the UK that isn't London, probably. I like him. I like his voice as well. It's really unusual. I expected it to... I just thought he was doing a Bruce Springsteen thing. He's not, is he? He's not doing that. Who was I thinking of then? Who had like a checkered shirt wrapped around his waist. He was wearing a vest. He had a guitar strung around his back. Maybe his guitar was a Fender, and that's why I thought he was Sam Fender. Maybe he was Sam Mendes. No, he's a director. Who could... Shawn Mendes. Anyway, let's talk about Sam Fender. That's what we're here to do. I looked at a picture of him, having realised that it was mistaken identity. He wasn't the guy that had the Netflix stuff. He actually has a more sort of chiselled, slightly malnourished look to him. A little bit like the high cheekboned football player called Scott McTominay, the Scottish man. And I think he's got the physique of a sports individual, which is going to serve him well, really. Especially if he drinks as hard as he evidently has been doing with Lewis Capaldi. How old is he now? How old is this guy?
27.
27? Okay. Yeah, I think he's 27 years old, so I think that's a bloke who's been writing songs for a few years. I think people don't just start writing songs today. He's probably been writing songs since, what, 15, 16, do you think? So it does sound like somebody who's been writing songs for 12 years, and he's actually far enough into his 20s to be able to reflect on this, formative period of his upbringing that's obviously inspiring him. What I said earlier about it being the age of ostinatos is that I'm hearing that a lot in stuff, and I think it's because nearly every trope that you can trudge through on a chorus has been done a million times, and anybody who's doing anything interesting is not dealing with refrains in the traditional way. Sam's one of them, so I didn't know what to expect with him, because I obviously completely mistook him for somebody else, and I'm really glad that I've been educated today. Sam Fender, 17 Going Under. Have a listen to it. I think it's worthy of a Netflix special in its own right. Don't forget, like and subscribe, and forgive my surroundings. It's not as palatial as you're used to, but it does fly. Justin Hawkins rides again. Like, subscribe. See you. Yeah.